Hello everyone and welcome in. Today is Friday, September 8th, and this is your daily card pull to see what all messages are coming through from God, Divine, Spirit, the universe for you. So as always, we'll go ahead and start with our three cards that are for the whole collective for today's energy, and then we'll dive into the sign groupings. And as a reminder, something kind of new that I've started is in the description box below. You can click on that and it'll put the timestamps for when the individual or when the sign groupings are in the video. And I think at least from like my iPhone, when I click on the number, it'll take you directly to that spot in the video, in case you want to just skip ahead to where yours is. But let's take a look and see what energies are coming through for the collective. We have the Five of Pentacles energy. Let's pull another one. Then we have the Empress. And we'll pull one more. The Hermit. So this Five of Pentacles energy, that's kind of about some struggles and some hardships that are coming up for you. Maybe potentially like unemployment, something along those lines. Kind of feeling like you're out in the cold. So in the Wilder or Rider Waite deck, I mean, that's the one where like the two people are outside in the cold, outside of the church. So then we also have the Empress energy, and this is that divine feminine energy. So that higher consciousness, inner wisdom, and then the Hermit. So with that, it's having this feeling of, you know, you've been going through some sort of hardship or struggles, maybe where you feel like you're kind of out in the cold, something like that. And that's put you into this kind of hermit mode where you're really thinking about things. You're looking for your own kind of inner compass, your inner wisdom. And the Empress energy is a good sign that you're finding that, since the Empress is that inner wisdom, higher consciousness. So it seems like it's just a little bit of a period of taking a step back and reflecting on what's been going on and why some of the struggles have happened. What can you do to avoid those struggles? So it seems like that's a good, I would say kind of like a good progression or a good energy, especially given all the heavy energy right now with all the retrogrades. As things come up, it really does give you a good opportunity to learn, kind of to dig deep and figure out why it is that you're feeling the way you're feeling or thinking the way you're thinking. All right, let's start today with our water signs. So that is our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and let's see what is coming up for you for today. The Emperor. So this is more of that divine masculine energy. So it's kind of got some of that bold, authoritative, like leadership type of energy. So when you pair that with the Empress energy, you have your divine feminine and your divine masculine. So something, depending on how this is resonating for you and your situation, it could be that either that is the energy that you'll be sitting in today, or that's the energy you're being called to sit in today. Like kind of, hey, keep this on your radar screen, that maybe you want to make sure that you're not too much in just this Empress energy. Make sure that you're also honoring your inner divine masculine side and having, not, when I say less heart, that doesn't sound very good, but if the divine feminine energy is mostly like this heart led, then the Emperor energy is more head led. So kind of that, keep a heads up that a situation may be calling for you to shift more into your masculine energy than your feminine energy. All right, worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And this is, and I think we've talked about this before, there's some quote out there, something about worrying doesn't change tomorrow, it just robs you of today. So yes, you do need to have some respect or consideration for what's going to happen tomorrow, next month, next year, based on my actions today or my inactions. But don't let that become so all-consuming that you're going over things like again and again and again and worrying, which, I mean, this could make sense that it's coming up because we have the Five of Pentacles. So that is that feeling of kind of being, like out in the cold or you're struggling. So it's natural when you're in a state of struggle to be worrying about the future, but just as best you can, try to, kind of go within and think about, okay, so there's a lesson here. This isn't permanent. This is the card that flipped. I'll pull another one. It says there's energetic forces working against you. And I'll pull one too and see what comes up with that. You are closer to your goals than you think. And actually that's something that you hear about that some of the times, that if you're really starting to struggle with something, like, maybe you've been working on your healing, you've been working on your growth. If all of a sudden you start to come up against like tougher roadblocks, it's almost like the universe's way of saying you're closer than you think to getting where you want to go. And this is kind of like one final, or, one of maybe the final tests of, have you learned what you need to learn? Is this really the path that you want? Are you going to keep fighting to get to where you want to go? Or is it like, oh, now it's getting hard. I'm getting bored. I'm getting tired. I'm getting whatever. Never mind. So you're probably closer than you think to getting to where you want to go. So even though you've been coming up with or having some struggles, as light workers too, a lot of times there's darker energy that comes into our field, as other forces are trying to stop the light workers or kind of come interfere with their work and with their path. So some of that too, if you have a regular meditation practice, make sure that you're including the white light kind of protection meditations, and those will help as well. Sometimes too, if all of a sudden just a weird random surge of emotion comes over you, like you're angry, you're scared, you're frustrated, sometimes you may be picking up on somebody else's energy. So it's almost that weird sense of, oh, wait. And then doing one of those white light meditations and just kind of almost visually pushing back that energy back to where it came from can sometimes help as well. All right, let's pull your spirit animal card and see what comes up there. Dragonfly, magic. I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I am brilliant. I am blessed. So this is kind of like that, you're embracing your transformation and kind of going with, you've been struggling. There's something that's caused you struggles and it's making you worry, but you're closer to getting there than you think. So balance out, work on as best you can, trying to balance out your masculine and feminine energies, to be able to bring yourself into inner union and really sit in that kind of powerful, transformative, enlightened type of place. So that's what we had for our water signs. You're closer to your goal than you think. Let's move on to our air signs. So that's going to be our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And let's see what comes up for you today. Death. So as we've talked about before, the death card, that's kind of about transformation and rebirth. So as you're sitting here in this kind of hermit energy of trying to kind of come to your own inner wisdom, that's something that, maybe either some new messages are coming through for you, or if you've been thinking about the same thing for a while, maybe some sense of clarity is going to be coming through for you. That something or some thought pattern has to end in order for you to move forward. Gratitude. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So that's something, even in the face of the death card, meaning that there's some sort of an ending, that's coming. Be grateful for it because it's taught you something and it's giving you some knowledge that you need, some wisdom that you need in order to move forwards. And it says you're inspiring people and you don't even realize it. So sometimes, especially when you're struggling and you have that, oh my gosh, why me? Why me? Thinking about it from the perspective of, someday what you're going through right now is going to be inspiration for somebody else who's going through something similar. So as best you can, try to see the fact that you're helping other people learn along their journey. And your animal card is Deer, love. Be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. So going along with gratitude, acknowledge your self-worth, acknowledge your blessings, and know that you're inspiring people. So even if you feel like, what does it really matter if I do this? Or what does it really matter if I do that? Know that what you're doing is helping to bring joy and inspiration to others. So stick with it. Keep shining your bright light. All right, fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag. Justice. So this is kind of like divine justice coming in to balance the scales. Maybe you've had a tough situation, maybe some challenges at work where you feel like it's been lopsided or unfair. Maybe it's in a relationship. Maybe it's in work dynamics, like I said, or family, but there's some sort of divine justice coming in to sort of balance the scales for you. And it's just a matter of perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. So this is that reminder that, and as I said during the water reading, that sometimes as you start to get really close to leveling up, you'll get kind of a final push from the universe where they're testing you, where it seems like all of a sudden things get really hard. And it's like, oh my gosh, why are things so tough all of a sudden? And sometimes that's kind of like that final layer of being tested. So persevere through that. All right. From a timing perspective, and I'll pull another one because, like I said before, there's only a couple of timing cards in here, and this one happened to come out, and it says, after you have healed. So in terms of with some of this justice and perseverance, like when are you going to get the justice? When are you going to get the rewards? And it's after you've healed. So if you're sitting here in this attitude of, this just isn't fair, so-and-so did this, and why does so-and-so get that, and I get the short end of the stick. When you're in that sort of a mentality, justice usually doesn't come in. It's usually, these two both kicked out. Right path, wrong approach, and in 20 years, what will you remember? So I'll use those. I won't pull another one. But it's kind of that whole thing of you need to find peace, and then when you do, then you will get that justice, that balancing. So persevere through that. So the two cards, it was right path, wrong approach, and in 20 years, what will you remember? So some of the times when you feel like you're getting agitated with something and something's this totally big deal, you really have to deal with it. You have to talk about it, for hours and hours with your friends because it's such a big deal. Sometimes it's worth asking yourself, okay, is it really going to matter? Like in 20 years, will it really matter? Because I'm letting all of this negative energy continue to, percolate the more I talk about it with other people. But if it's really not going to matter down the road, just let it pass. And that some of that could be, some of this healing that you're being called upon to do is heal that sort of mentality, that those negative thought patterns, and just let it go. Because you're on the right path. You're on the right path. And if you feel like you've been struggling some, however that looks for you, you could have the wrong approach. You could be on the right path. Like, yes, you should be, for example, if it's leaving the job that you're at because it's unfulfilling, it's not part of what your soul path, your soul contracts are all about. So kind of the right path of, yes, I need to be done with that job. The wrong approach, for example, could be, well, I'm just going to slack off and I'm really not going to do very much at work because I don't really care. This isn't the right place for me. And then you end up getting fired, versus the right path being like, you know what, this really isn't the place that I should be. I'm going to end on a good note. I'm going to, not burn my bridges, and I'm going to take a stand and say, this is not the right path for me. I am intentionally leaving this job, even if I don't have something else lined up. So that's kind of what it means, like right path, wrong approach. And let's take a look at our soul card. The other thing too, if this is about a relationship, for example, if it's one that you don't really, your heart's not in it, you don't want to be in it anymore. And it's kind of like, okay, I know this relationship needs to end. So you've kind of decided that, but you really don't want to say anything about it. So instead you're just going to, be mean to the other person. You're going to, whatever, you're going to mentally exit the relationship already, even though you're still physically there. That's not necessarily the right approach. Like, if it's time to be done, have the conversation that it's time to be done. Don't just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to move on and not tell the other person, but I have moved on. So it's kind of more of like that sort of thinking in terms of right path. Like, you've made the right decision. You just have to execute, maybe execute a little bit differently to get to that place. And your spirit animal card is Heron. Patience. Create a place in nature, stillness, and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. So this patience kind of goes along with the perseverance. But also one of the things we've talked about before with patience, and this kind of goes with this Hermit card, that, where you're kind of stepping back and reflecting on things, and because there have been some struggles, so you're reflecting on it. And this, I think, is going with this right path, wrong approach. You figured out how to get out of this struggle, or you need to get out of the struggle, you have to figure out the path. But with this patience, and the idea of patience is there's a difference in surrendering to divine timing and to the universe and giving up. So patience doesn't mean, you know what, fine, whatever. If the universe says you're not supposed to be over here, you're supposed to be over here, I am going to wait until the hand comes down, plucks me, and puts me over here. That's not necessarily patience. That's more like, I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do until somebody forces me to do something different. So that's not quite the same as patience. All right. And last but not least, we have our earth signs. So that's our Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You also have the Emperor energy. So this is pushing into that divine masculine energy and that push of balancing the Empress and the Emperor energy and finding that sense of inner harmony to be able to move past the Five of Pentacles, that feeling of being out in the dark or out in the cold. Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. So I feel like this one's come up, wanting to say maybe for the earth signs recently, but this Hermit energy here is because of this indecision. So it's like something has been causing you grief, causing you struggles, causing you hardship, and but it's leading you to this place of indecision, because it's like, you need to do something about it, but you just don't really want to, or you're having a hard time understanding what the next move is. So you're really being called to balance your divine masculine, divine feminine energy. Sorry. There's a delivery and the dog is going nuts. And this card then is every choice is a brick in the wall. And this is kind of that reminder of, when you're in this place of indecision and it's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to do the wrong thing. So instead, I'm going to do nothing. Know that is still a choice. To do nothing is still a choice. And it's leading you further down a path. So kicking the can down the road isn't the solution. Again, it's kind of that whole thing of, patience isn't, I'm going to sit here until the hand of the Almighty plucks me out of where I'm going. It's, you're given the opportunity to make choices to better your situation. All right. And your spirit animal is elephant. Greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. So this is something, when we piece the three general cards together with your specific one, this, your Five of Pentacles situation, whatever this struggle and hardship is, is, putting you in this place of indecision. And so you're trying to think about what to do, and you've been more in that heart space, reacting more emotionally, like, I'm going to do this because, I just, I don't want to deal with this. Like, you're not necessarily thinking about it logically. It's more emotionally based. And so you're being called to pull in the logic part of it too, and really see the bigger picture and know that every little bit of stalling and every little bit of I'm not going to make this decision is taking you further down the road. So you do have greatness within you. So really look at that, and this leadership is your path. Leadership, this is going with this divine masculine. So if you can pull into your divine masculine energy a little bit more, you will get past this Five of Pentacles situation, but you have to allow some of that logical head part to come in and say, you know what, this situation needs to go in this direction. It needs to change like this. Here's what we're doing. So I hope today's message has been helpful for you. And as always, take only what resonates. And I wish you peace and joy along your path. Until next time. Bye-bye.